So, welcome to this practice. And at the time of recording, it is the day of the Libra full moon. And the Libra full moon, as we know, is symbolized by the scales, inviting us to find balance. Last week, we had the spring equinox, which is the balance of the light and the dark, the night and the day. So for today's practice, we are going to consider what balance means. And of course, we'll be balancing. And in true balance, it will be a 30-minute moving class and a 30-minute complete rest, flow and restore. So again, balancing out our body's energy. I hope you enjoy it. So as we begin this practice, let's consider finding balance in our bodies. And if you're sitting cross-legged, you might just get one hand beneath your sit bone and really kind of hold onto your buttock really, and then rest that buttock down. And then do that same thing the other side. So visualizing your pelvis there at the spine, just finding its alignment. Roll the shoulders back, and we're going to begin, as we often do now, with a 3-minute meditation. This is a 3-minute meditation to help you find balance. So allow your eyes to close, perhaps tuck the chin, and just focus now on balancing your breath. Breathing in for your count of 4 or 5. Breathing out for the same count. And in order to facilitate this, let the tongue roll up to the roof of the mouth. This breath is called Samavritti, which means equal disturbance or equal fluctuation. Breathing in for your count of 4 or 5. Breathing out for the same count. And now just do that on your own for about 3 or 4 more rounds. Now, if that's comfortable, can you add a little pause for 2 seconds at the top and bottom of the breath? Breathe in for your count of 4. Retain the breath for 2. Breathe out for 4. Keep the breath out for 2. Now just do this for the final minute, which is in roughly about 5 or 6 rounds. Your mind is drifted. Let it focus on counting the breath. And when we balance our breath, we balance our nervous system. And that's why we practice this practice of yoga. It really isn't about getting a good warrior 2. And now just take one more round of normal breathing. Breathe in through the nose. Sighing breath out through the mouth. And just notice if you feel a little bit more balanced as we begin. So let's start to move now into this practice. And if we have our legs crossed, let's just cross them in the opposite way. So to bring balance, we tend to favor a side. And now consider the sign of Libra. Can you just take your arms out to the side with the palms up, almost like you are your own little set of scales here? And just take a huge breath in as you focus your awareness onto the center of the palm. So stay with that slow, grounded energy as you inhale for a count of 4, letting the fingers touch overhead. And the challenge to slow down can be really difficult. Exhale, let's come back to the open arms. So we're balancing the doing with the being, the masculine with the feminine, the yang with the yin, breathing in and breathing out. And notice sometimes it's really hard to slow down. Most of us need more slowness for balance, if there is such a word. Next time your fingers are up and overhead, we're going to tilt to the left. Count of 4. Breathe in, slow count. Let's tilt to the left this time. Sorry, right. Inhale, we lift. This time we stay to the left. As that left hand comes down, the right arm comes up and overhead, and we're breathing into the right side. And now just turn your chest to the ground. Notice what that does for your shoulder. And then breathe in as you lift up again. So we're kind of just moving the arm up and down, almost like a big wing. Next time we're up, let's keep that hand up. Take a huge breath into the right waist. And let's come all the way up nice and slowly. Left arm comes all the way up and over the ear. And breathe all the way down the left side of the body. So pressing into the right hand, we sort of turn a little bit. The left arm comes with us, just stretching into the left shoulder blade. And then we breathe in and open that wing. And it's always worth reminding ourselves that we're all divine creatures. And then let's lift up one more time. Come to that set of scales. Closing your eyes, feeling the energy into the palms of the hands. Considering what balance looks like for you. Is it moving more, moving less? And of course, we'll explore both in this practice. Let's come all the way onto all fours now. So balance isn't just standing on one leg. It's pressing our way evenly into fingers and the knees. And let's do some cat and cow. As you inhale, lift your heart. As you exhale, round into your upper back. And just for today, perhaps tuck your toes, just stretching the feet. Inhale, we lift up. Exhale, we round. And you might stay here, or as you inhale into cow pose, as you exhale, you might sit back into child's pose, gently stretching the feet as well. Inhale, we rise up. Exhale, we round back. So adding on to that now, if you wish, inhale, you come up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, knees drop. Exhale, sit back onto the heels. So stay with cat and cow or add the new shape with downward dog, but nice and slow, just finding balance in our nervous system as we steady the breath and move between these shapes. The final time we're going to meet in downward facing dog. And in downward facing dog, press the floor away to really feel the back of the legs get a little stretch there and come really high up onto your toes and then drop the heels down. And do that one more time. Final time, lift as high as you can and then come down. So this is strange. We don't usually do this. As you breathe in, lift up your right leg, playing with balance now. Can you be even on both hands? Bring the right knee towards your nose and then drop your right shin down. We're going to go straight into a side balance. So I'll face the camera. As the right shin comes down now, extend that left leg behind you and lift your left arm up towards the sky. So coming into a side stretch, maybe the left arm comes over your ear. Take a long breath all the way down the left side of the body. Inhale, lift the left arm to the sky. And maybe we play with balance more now as we spread and lift our toes on the left leg. So extending that left leg back, breathing in. And then as we come down, we're going to bring the left foot forward to the outside of the hand. So coming between two shapes again, a bit like cat and cow in the spine. As you inhale, you drop your tummy, you lift your heart, bending the left knee. Exhale, round. Maybe you straighten the left leg. Breathing in, come forward. Keep a nice, even, steady tone to the breath, because what we tend to do is speed through the bits we don't like. And yoga's trying to get us to this space of equilibrium where we can just be with what is. Next time that left foot comes down, let's raise the arms towards the sky. And again, let's just take those scales, take the arms out, lift the heart, take a deep breath. Just embracing everything that's here. Let's lift the arms up. Let's take the hands down, coming back to downward facing dog. And in your downward facing dog, lift the heels again. Ease the heels back. Do that a couple of times. And then when you're ready, we're going to lift the left leg up. Breathing in, left leg lifts. Pause. Let's drop the left shin down now. Left hand comes a little further forward. Turn onto the side plane. Lift your right arm up. So a different entry point into perhaps a more familiar pose. Let's take the right arm all the way up and over our ear. Breathing in. Invitation to lift the right leg. And all of this is done with that lovely steady tone of breath. And the right hand comes down. The right foot comes to the outside. And once again, we're coming forward and back. Breathing in, we lift the heart. Exhale, we straighten the leg. Inhale, heart rises. Exhale, we bow to ourselves. Final time. Just cultivating that steady, balanced breath, because that's what's balancing our nervous system. And next time the right hand comes down, we sweep those arms up and out to the side, like we're just embracing everything in this moment. One more deep breath. And take the hands down. Once again, we come back to downward facing dog. So we have the option now for a vinyasa, if that really helps your energy balance. If it's depleting you, stay on all fours. Breathe in, let's come forward to a plank pose. Breathe out, we lower to the earth. Inhale, we take a back bend, the cobra. Exhale, we come back down again. Breathing in, we come back to downward facing dog. And take a full deep breath in. And then a sighing breath out. Lift up your heels, look forward. Bend the knees, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, take a flat back. Exhale to fold. Bend in your knees now as you sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to the heart space. So we're going to come through a standing sequence now. We'll do it twice with adding on, and then we're going to come into some restorative poses so that we really restore our body's energy balance. We'll just come through one round of Surya Namaskara A to get everything moving. So feet hip width apart, all big toes together. With breath, keep it slow and steady. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, we come to a fold. Inhale, long spine. Step back to downward facing dog. And then with your breath, blow through your vinyasa. And it's all about the breath. Next time you're in downward facing dog, fix your gaze between your feet or look at your tummy and take 3 deep breaths. Nice balanced breath. Keep your gaze nice and steady. And the thoughts, just watch them pass through. Lift up the heels, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. So in this short standing sequence, we will of course be balancing. Let's start with a knee lift. Press into your right heel. Feel the right toes. Lift up your left knee. And a way to help us balance is to press our fingers together as you press that right thigh bone back. Know that wobbles are part of balancing, so take a deep breath. Now let's extend back into a version of Warrior 3. Remember, you can always put your hands on bricks. Extend the left leg back now as you gaze forward. And take about 2 breaths, even breath. And then we're going to come into Warrior 1. So we're dropping that left heel down, toes slightly out to the side. Our hips are facing forward. As you bend the right knee, you can just about see your right big toe. Moving between 2 shapes. Inhale, we lift our arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Interlace the palms behind you. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Nice, slow, cultivated breath. Exhale, fold forward. Final time, inhale. And now let's pause as we fold forward and interlace the palms and press into that left heel. Use both of the feet for this balance, breathing in and breathing out. Now straighten your right leg as we come into pyramid pose. Now pyramid pose can be demanding. You might want to put a brick either side of your right foot. Make sure the weight is even into both of your feet. Lift and lengthen the spine as you inhale, and then explore folding as you exhale. Now notice, are you in a state of equanimity, equilibrium, or is your mind racing that you don't like this pose? Just notice. Press firmly into that back foot. 2 more deep breaths. From there now, really press into the feet as you come up. It's quite strong. Hold on to your hips. We're going to come back into a knee lift. Grow nice and tall. Take a deep breath. Now we step back to warrior two. So warrior two, a very different hip position to the first one. Hips are facing sideways. Reach those fingers forward, and just like the sign of Libra, let's turn the palms up again and drop the shoulders. And when our palms are up, it's like we're ready to receive what gifts the universe has for us. Let's take 2 deep breaths. So this is our sequence, fairly straightforward. We're going to do it through a couple of times. Now let's lean back, breathing in. Right arm comes all the way up and over your head. Take a deep breath into your right lung. And now straighten your right leg. Stay leaning back and support the head with the right hand. So leaning back, take a deep breath into the right side of your body as you lift the right elbow. And now into all that space, we're going to take it into triangle. Right hand comes down, left arm lifts. The triangle is the legs, but also the hand from the armpit. You can see lots of triangles perhaps. And as you look up, really breathe 3 very even, spacious breaths into this shape. In for 4, out for 4. And then look down to the right foot. Slowly bring yourself back to warrior two. And then there's the option of a vinyasa. So hands either side of the front foot. You come back to downward dog. Breathe your way forward. Lower to the earth. Inhale, we rise again. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take 2 deep breaths in downward facing dog. Lift the heels, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. When you get there, inhale, flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms sweep all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart space. Let's do it on side 2. Pause at the top of your mat in what we call Samastitihi, which actually means equal standing pose. So check that you're in the big toes, but and the little toes and the center of the heel. Often we roll inwards, which is why we get bunions on the big toe side of our foot. Breathing in, right leg rises, all those glamorous things. Let's press our hands together, press the thigh back. Find balance, which may be wobbling. With breath, exhale, right leg extends back, spine is long, 2 deep breaths. And let's drop that right foot. So warrior one again. So this time the hips are forward. We're bending the left knee so we can see the left big toe. The more you lean back a little, the more of a stretch you get for the right calf muscle. So make sure it's right for you. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold and interlace. Press into the feet, breathing in, we lift. Exhale, we fold. Final time, inhale, we rise up. Exhale, humble warrior. So the back foot here is important. Press into the outside edge of the back foot as you hang the head and deeply, deeply breathe into the back of your body. And then without giving your joy and balance away to a yoga pose, let's come into pyramid. Straighten the left leg, possibly hop
the right foot in. Now, what the body wants to do probably is lift the right heel, root it down so your weight is balanced in both feet, and then just notice all the sensations, maybe the stories you attach to those sensations, and come back to center with the next breath. And then very firmly press into the feet as you rise up. That's incredibly strong, deceptively strong. Hold on to your hips. Let's come back into a balance. Right knee rises, find the breath. Now, warrior two. Unravel the arms. Again, like a set of scales, have the palms up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Maybe you sink deeper. Try 2 more deep breaths. And then lean back. As the right hand comes back, the left arm lifts. We're breathing into our left waist. Steady, steady breath. And then we straighten the left leg, take the left hand to the head and lean back. So this is a reverse triangle as we create space in the left side of our body. Now let's take both arms out and come into the more regular triangle. Left hand down, right arm up. And just again, consider the triangles in your body. There's one between the left armpit and the left ankle. There's the triangle between the feet. 2 more deep breaths. Inhale, let's rise up. Warrior two. Coming through another vinyasa. So we've got one more round of standing poses to go, and then we totally rest. And we need both for balance. We can be more kind of one way or more the other. We need to move, we need to stop. Take 2 deep breaths into the whole body. Lift up onto the heels, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way up to stand. This time coming into chair pose. Take the hands to prayer and lean back. Inhale, arms in front. Exhale, fingers behind. Inhale, arms in front. Exhale, fingers behind and heels lift. Just take a moment there, finding balance because this is tricky. Right heel down, left heel lift. Stay here or see if you can hover the left foot. And you might get a really wobbly right hip there. This is how we build strength. Breathe in, let's come back to a knee lift. Once again, let's come into warrior three. So you might take a different version this time, maybe fingers behind, maybe fingers in front. So much harder to balance when our arms are in front because there's more surface area to hold up. Now let's drop that back foot. We're back in warrior one. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, fold and interlace. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, we fold and interlace. So we've been here before. One more time. So this time, instead of folding and interlace, we're going to come back into pyramid, but we are going to make this a little bit different. Feel the weight in both of your feet. Now, if you can, bend your left knee and press your left heel down. And that can feel really strange. We're trying to stretch the muscles in the back of the left leg. And again, what will want to happen is the heel will want to lift. So can you root it down? Slowly come back. Well done. Press into the feet. Once again, we're lifting up. Once again, we're going to come back into the knee lift. This time we're adding a twist. Take your right hand to the knee and your left hand to your lower back. And you either look over your chest or maybe your back shoulder. If you feel balanced, you might unravel the left arm. Just bring it all back to center with your breath. That's all that matters. One more deep breath. Now let's swim that left hand forward as we take a brief warrior three now, just sort of stepping back. Once again, we come into warrior two. So again, we're moving the hips. Arms out wide. Once again, palms up. Take a breath. Let's just move the energy now. Inhale, fingers touch overhead. Exhale, palms open again. Inhale, fingers touch. Exhale, palms open. From here, we're going to come into our final balance today as we come into half moon. So lean forward, right fingers come onto the brick, and we lift our left leg. You might stay looking down if you're still learning. You might be ready to rotate. We did this in the warm-up. Kick into that left heel. Maybe you lift the left fingers. And if you're super balanced today, you might hold on to your left ankle. But remember, it's not strictly Karma Yoga. There's nobody marking you. So just find the shape that is your unique expression and take 2 deep breaths. Gently come out. Gently come back. And another vinyasa if you wish. So hands either side of the front foot. Coming through your plank. We've only got one more of these to go. And let's meet once again in downward facing dog. And in downward facing dog, feel everything that roots you to the earth. The hands, the feet, shake out the head. Lift up the heels, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale to fold. Breathing in as you come up to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart space. Just take a moment to steady the breath. It might have lost its even tone. In fact, take one hand to heart, one hand to tummy. Maybe repeat to yourself, I'm here. And just mellow the breath out as your hands rest on your 2 wisdom centers, the heart and the gut. Final round, let's come to chair pose. Inhale, arms in front. Exhale, fingers behind. Inhale, arms in front, heels lift. Exhale, fingers behind. Inhale, arms in front. Exhale, arms behind. This time, drop the left heel, lift up the right heel, maybe hover. So this is building so much strength in our left hip. Let's come all the way up to a knee lift. Hands to prayer. Let's come into warrior 3. Kick back into that right heel. Maybe the arms extend. And find that equanimity in the breath. Let's drop the right heel and come back into Virabhadrasana 1. Breathing in, arms lift. Exhale, we fold. And the warriors, of course, are not that we go out and have a fight in our local high street. They're all about the battles that we usually have with ourselves and our thoughts. Final time. And this time as we fold, once again, we come into pyramid. So the left foot faces forward, right toe slightly turned out. Maybe you hop the back foot in. And the challenge here is to stay balanced in our mind, really, as we bend the right knee. Press your right little toe down, the right heel. This is so hard. Breathing into, for most people, it's a stretch of the right ankle and calf, but for some of us, it might be the left hamstring. Breathing in. And release. Press into the feet. Slowly rise up. Once again, knee lift. Hold on to that right knee. Right hand to lower back. Turn so it's chin over chest. Maybe unraveling your arm as you look over the back shoulder. Find your breath. Keep pressing that left thigh bone back. Right arm swims you forward. A brief foray into warrior 3. And then we land. Final time, warrior 2, palms up. That's scales. Scales are here, finding balance. Breathing in, let's lean back. And a slow exploration coming into half moon. So start with right hand on hip. So every time we extend the limbs, the core has to work harder at keeping us up. So find your balance. Sometimes it's doing less. Maybe if you did so on side 1, you hold the foot. Just making shapes with the body, just for the fun of it. There's no end goal. 2 more deep breaths. Extend that leg back out, spread your fingers. Let's come up into warrior 2, breathing in. And then let's come through the flow. Hands either side of the front foot, back into downward facing dog. We're all going to meet in child's pose. So you might go straight there, or you might do a final vinyasa. And then coming down to child's pose, make a little fist perhaps with your hands and come to stop. And really, for good balance, we need lots and lots of rest. But many of us, especially if we care for others, are not good at that. So just pause now and feel the breath filling up the back of your body. Sigh the breath away. And then let's come up. So for the remainder of this practice now, it is good to have a yoga bolster. If you don't have access to one, of course, you might make one with some pillows and cushions from your sofa, a couple of pillows wrapped very tightly with a towel. So we will begin with stretching the back because some of us are having back issues. So let's take the toes towards the end of the bolster. So I'm going to have a little timer here and I'm going to keep you in the poses for 3 to 4 minutes. And this way, the muscles start to relax a little bit. So we access the connective tissue that surrounds them. So coming into, into restorative bridge, we want the bolster behind our lower back. We lift our hips, pelvis up, and we come to lie back on the bolster. Books will also work, a pile of books or a book or two under the lower back, elevating the hips. If you want to add a little stretch for the shoulders, you might take your arms overhead. Keep your chin tucked, so arms in a Y shape or a cactus shape. Just again to loosen up tightness in the shoulders. So I'm going to come up while I set my timer, but you really give your body now to the bolster. And for this first one, we're here for 3 minutes. And generally, as soon as we still the body, the mind starts to speed up. So know that this is what the mind does, and meditating isn't trying to stop the thinking. We're trying to notice that we're thinking. And when we notice we're thinking, we come back to the breath. So the practice is the returning back to center, not stopping thoughts. And if the mind is exceptionally busy, you might repeat the Buddha's first teaching. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. So you have about 2 minutes now to practice coming back to center, even if it's over and over and over and over again. And perhaps the breathing technique from the earlier meditation at the beginning of the practice might help you. A balanced breath with a 2-second pause at the top and bottom of breath. Known as Samavriti, very powerful breath to balance the nervous system. So stay with the breath, just a few more breaths, and very shortly you will hear me ring a bell. The bell is a signal that we're going to move, but we don't want to be too quick. So when you hear the bell, take 3 more full, very deep breaths. And let the last breath be a sighing breath out. This is how we release tension. So we don't want to rush out of these poses because that isn't good for our back. So be really gentle. How we want to come out of this, I'm assuming it's a bolster. Obviously, if it's something else, then improvise. But just lift up your hips and press or roll whatever it is that you're on towards your heels and let the spine land there. And just take a moment in this pose called constructive rest. Take 3 rounds of even breaths. Samavriti, breathing in and breathing out. And the practice is the whole time that you're on the mat, not just the poses. It's the space between the poses too. So notice our tendency to check out. Final breath. And now very simply, we're going to pick our feet up and place them on the bolster, the cushions, whatever it was you had. Take your knees out to the side. In yin yoga, we call this butterfly. So your feet are in a diamond shape. Now, if your hips are very stretchy and you want more of a stretch, you might not use the bolster at all. You might have your feet on the floor and the knees wide, or slightly softer feet over the bolster and knees rest on the bolster. And often when our back is aching, it can be our hips that are causing that. So these often can really help our back health. So as we settle here, perhaps place your hands on your gut, guiding the breath there. Buddha's first teaching again, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. Perhaps if your mind is settled, you don't need to count the breath or to repeat that. Just get a sense of feeling your breath and body. And in total, we're here for 2 minutes. And the Sufi poet Rumi, one of his many, many quotes is, life is a balance of holding on and letting go. So in the yoga practice, notice here where you are holding on. Are you holding the breath? Are you gripping a muscle? Where can you let go? Where can you find that balance? And the more we balance and even the breath, the more we balance and even out the mind. There's a direct link there, so just noticing that connection. About another minute left. So shortly again, you'll hear a bell. Remember, it's a call to think about moving, not racing ahead. So stay slow, stay still. 3 more deep breaths, each one getting a little deeper, culminating in a sigh. And very, very slowly, close your knees together like you're closing a book. You might want to bring the knees in towards your chest just to ease out your lower back. And then we're just going to come up for one forward fold. So in the nature of balance, we need to include all these shapes. So we'll take a wide-legged forward fold. Now, forward folds can be way more demanding for your back, so just make sure you are supported. A forward fold happens as soon as you tuck your chin, so you could even lean up against a wall here. Take your legs as wide as you can, and the deeper you come towards the ground, the deeper the stretch for your hips. So you might have a bolster, a pile of books, or even a chair that you can rest your head on, making a little pillow with your forearms. So if we can get our forehead into something, that's good, because there's a little acupressure point between our eyebrows. So I'm folding forward. I've got a lot of flexibility in my legs for that. You might have a bolster lifting up like this, where you just put your forehead on upright. So remember, no one's marking you. There's no prize to be had. We're just finding somewhere that we can stay and breathe for 2 minutes. So focusing on breath awareness. And of course, meditation can be really boring. Our mind wants total distraction. We're always reaching for the phone, for the fridge, whatever else it is that we do. Very rarely do we spend time with ourselves. But for true balance, the more we can, the better we will be. So again, acknowledge if you find this tough. You might feel scattered. Welcome all of those parts of you. And keep coming back to your breath. And generally, if you're quite a yang person, as I am, you're always busy, always doing, you like the kind of pushing yoga, if you like, kind of the moving yoga. This probably is a really good practice, but we tend to shy away from it. We often feed our imbalances. If you like to rest all the time, that's also a sign that you might need to move more. So just noticing that's where your tendencies are. But just staying with the breath now, just a few more rounds until you hear the bell. Three more deep breaths. And that's quite enough time of being up now, isn't it? Let's come back onto our backs, the best place to be. So have your bolster ready or your cushions or whatever, and have them lined up next to your left hip, but we won't be going straight there. So the bolster is going to be by the left, roughly in line with your left hip as you come down to lie on the ground. So before we take our twist, we're going to take a pose called banana pose. Move the right foot to the right and the right shoulder in line with your right foot. Wiggle your left ankle now close to your right ankle. It might be next to it or it might stack on top. Make sure there's no cranking in the back. Just back off from leaning. If you've got space, hold on to your left wrist and lean to the right. So banana pose, a long opening all around the left side. Expandability, and then we have contractibility on the right side. So as we lean to the right, we're simply focusing on breathing into the left side for another minute. And then choose what device or tool we've explored that helps you stay most present. Is it that you repeat your breathing in? Is it that you count the breath? Or perhaps you like to repeat an affirmation such as I am centered, I am calm. Something to harness your awareness on, because very often it's our thoughts that bring us out of balance. So just noticing where your thoughts often go. Three more deep breaths. And finish with a long sighing breath out. So after lengthening and stretching the left side, we're now going to bring in a twist. So two choices here, depending on your back. If your back is tender, it's always good to wiggle your hips the opposite way. So take your hips about centimetre or 2 inch or two to the right. Otherwise, it's okay to stretch the back. So you choose. We're going to lift the knees up, and two choices. If our back's not great, just move the knees over to the left. For a slightly stronger twist, take your right thigh over the left thigh, and then bring your knees over to the left. Take your arms out into a Y shape if that's comfortable, or out to the side, maybe again like the scales, looking over to your right thumb, and then softening your shoulders. So in a twist, we try to breathe in a nice balanced way, sideways, because it can feel tricky at first, slightly uncomfortable. So establishing that nice balanced breath. And then we settle in here for 2 minutes. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. And it's like there's a feedback loop from our breath to our brain. So it's not imagining it. There really is stuff going on. When we slow our breathing down, the mind slows down. It's called laminar flow. Just a few more breaths. Again, just notice where the mind goes to, and is it taking you off balance? So take your time. We're not rushing. And you might get ready by shifting the bolster or whatever support you had by your left hip over to the right hip now, as we come into those two shapes on the other side. So first we take banana pose. Wiggle your left foot to the left and bring your right shoulder in line with it. Once again, we might stack the ankles. You might hold the right wrist. So as you hold the right wrist, make sure your elbows are on the ground as you lean to the side. Make sure the back of the neck is long. Make sure the shoulders are soft. Because we're very good at bringing imbalance and tension into the body. So just scan the body to make sure it is serving you. And if not, then come and take a slightly different shape. Once again, really access that smooth, deep, spaciously balanced breath. And that might be with or without a pause in between the breaths. Three more deep breaths.
And then, as previously, we're going to come into a twist. So any back issues, slightly wiggle your hips to the left so that when the knees come to the right, you notice that your spine is in a nice straight line. Otherwise, you're slightly stretching the hips and the lower back, and that's okay. Left thigh crosses right for a slightly stronger twist. Alternatively, no cross of the thighs. Knees just rock over to the right. And here we are for 2 minutes. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. So going to finish with a little quote today. This is quite a well-known quote, but about the kind of two sides of us, because we very rarely are we in, of course, a state of balance. So staying with the breath while I find the quote, because I should have done this earlier, but for some reason I've lost my page. So deep, deep breathing in, deep, deep breathing out. A granddad is teaching his grandson. A fight is going on inside me. A terrible fight between two wolves. One is evil, angry, envious, sorrowful, regretful, greedy, arrogant, self-pitying, false pride, superiority, and ego. He continued, the other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, benevolence, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside you and inside every other person too. The grandson thought about it for a minute, and then he asked his grandfather, which wolf will win the fight? The old man replied, well, that's easy. The one that you feed the most. So as we settle, watching the breath, let's just take 3 more breaths. Finishing with a long sighing breath out, relaxing all tension in the jaw. And then when you're ready, making your way now into a nice balanced, symmetrical shape of Shavasana. So you might have something for the back of the knees. That's really good if you've got lower back pain, because it means the lower back can settle a little. You might put extra layers on, blankets. And if you're really agitated, sometimes a heavy weight on you can help. Bag of rice, some books. So in my studio, we have what we call sandbags, but you can always make your own, improvise at home. And now come to settle. And if it's comfortable for you, have both palms up beside you, allowing the shoulders to rest. And again, this gesture of receptivity, being ready to open to what lies ahead. And you can let go of shaping and manipulating the breath now. Allow the breath to breathe you. Breathing in through the nose. And a really long exhale out. And thinking about your two wolves, the two parts of you. What are the battles raging inside you, and which can you stop feeding? And acknowledging that the mind might be busy, and being at peace with it if that's the case. Just not getting tangled up in thoughts. Just allow them to be there. And just soften and settle all the features of the face, eyes, jaw. And feel the breath now in your belly, moving sideways evenly into both sides of your torso, expanding, opening. Feel the lift of energy all the way up to your heart. As you breathe out, feel the weight of your shoulders, your arms, your elbows, your wrists, and let go. Feel the weight of the lower back and your pelvis just melting there into the earth. Relax the calf muscles, the feet. And just quickly scan the body to make sure that you are even. Do you need to readjust the pelvis? And now stay here as you breathe into your whole body, your whole body, whole body. And start to lengthen your breathing now. Make the exhale just a little longer. And perhaps in the spirit of true balance, you might need to rest more if that's what you realize is what you need right now. Otherwise, let's just bring some gentle movement back into your body. Spread your toes, spread your fingers. And you might do an overhead stretch, just gently awakening the body. And then just come to make yourself a little ball as you lie on one side. Take a moment to just feel the earth. It's always there holding you up. And then slowly come up to a comfortable seat. As always, it's really beautiful to share this practice with you. If you'd like to sign up to my newsletter, it's at sarahrushyoga.com. Details Sarah retreats. And I don't send many newsletters, but just send you a poem here or there. And a little bit of what we're up to. So let's sit up nice and tall and sweep those arms all the way up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, bring the hands back to your heart. Namaste. And may the rest of your day be balanced.